Welcome to Barrow Memorial Hospital, located in Gun Barrel City, Texas. Population 6,204. Here, the only emergency care facility was an old, run-down, 2-star emergency room. Now, our hospital is here to provide emergency services as well as ambulatory services to this town and the surrounding areas. And this will be the scene for all of the following events.
8:45 p.m. Michael Helms arrives at the hospital by ambulance. He is a 48-year-old male with a gunshot wound in the left shoulder. The patient is on Coumadin, a blood thinner, and is experiencing significant blood loss, causing him to shift in and out of consciousness. He is hypertensive, but other vitals are currently stable. His wife tries to follow him into the hospital, but can't enter because security stops her. 9:01 p.m. Michael was brought into Trauma Room 1, where he was examined for an exit wound and any additional injuries. He begins to complain of a tingling in his arm. The patient's last tetanus shot was over 10 years ago, so he is administered a tetanus booster immediately. The trauma room is located here, very close to the ambulance entrance, considering patients entering on ambulance are typically ones who need the trauma room. The room is big enough for multiple patients who need the trauma room, and the trauma room, morgue, bereavement room are all together in the corner of the hospital to limit the patients seeing that and limit that from the public eye.
So before the EMTs head back out to their ambulance, they have to do some things. One of them had Michael's blood all over himself, so he had to go over to one of our decontamination rooms since we need to treat everyone like they're HIV positive. And another EMT has to do paperwork for Michael, but instead of standing around in the hallways and trying to fill stuff out, like where it's noisy and everyone's going back and forth, we have a room designated specifically just for paperwork, and it has doors coming from this way and from the trauma room so that they can discuss what needs to go on during surgery as well as what happened in the ambulance and everything. And lastly, one of them needs to restock the ambulance since it's running low on supplies. So he heads on over to our storage closet here, which is also located by the ambulance entrance. However, this isn't just any old closet.
So typical storage closets are messy, keep clicking.
Oh.
They're cluttered. They're so big that it's impossible to find what you need. This is wasting time and energy for EMTs who have to dig and search for what they need to restock their ambulance. Not at Barrow Memorial. Here, click, we have the smart closet. I'm gonna come over here.
Oh, yeah.
So with our smart closet, there's a touch screen right here, this is generally what it would look like. There's arrows so you can click through the screen, or you can search for what you need. Say you need, oh my god, large gauze. You would click on it. And if you selected the wrong thing, you could go back, or you continue and say, I don't know, you need like 12 or something. You click that, and then it will be like, you have selected 12. Is that correct? If it's not, then you go back, or you click yes, continue, and you'll go back to the screen. So say you needed something else, then you could click that, but if you're done, you click finished. And no, oh god, what happened? What's not supposed to happen? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the finished screen. It will come up with every item that you selected and the amounts that you selected. So again, if it's wrong, you can go back, or you can click yes, you're done, and then it will be retrieving your items, and they'll come up, and you just have to pick them up, and then once you're done, back to the home screen. But so that saves so much time and energy, and it also, our closet will notify when it needs to be restocked, but you rarely have to restock it because it has such a high capacity for holding storage, so it makes things easier.
At 9:25 p.m., our patient is taken to the major procedure room for the removal of the bullet from his wound. Here his wound is cleaned and cleared, and every fragment of metal from the bullet is removed. The major procedure room is extensive surgeries such as the removal of organs. It is placed near the original trauma room, so patients like Michael can be quickly shifted from here to there.
9:47 p.m. Blair McRoy, an 11-year-old girl, enters the hospital with her parents. She is complaining of pain in her leg and she doesn't have any visible injury. So she's placed on a wheelchair, and after being triaged as urgent, she's taken to a rapid decision unit. We have our rapid decision unit by our waiting room, but separated still, so that they can't be like looking at each other, and doctors can look at the rapid decision unit separately. We also have our consultation rooms and prayer room right by the waiting room, since most visitors will be able to just head on in and ask questions as well as pray. Like, typically the visitors in the waiting room are the people that need that. And yeah. 10:26 p.m. Blair is taken up to our imaging room to have an x-ray done. Our imaging room is located relatively in the center of the hospital, since it'll be convenient for everyone, all the patients to just, it saves time for the patients to head on over to the imaging room. Our nurse station is also located relatively in the center of the hospital to be convenient for nurses. Blair's wheelchair can also fit through our hallways, since they're wide enough for several wheelchairs to be wheeled through.
At 10:53 p.m., Blair settled into a pediatric room, and her parents are brought in by a nurse who will be caring for Blair. Here in the pediatric wing of the emergency department, the rooms are slightly larger than typical patient rooms to allow for more visitor space, since children typically have more visitors. A doctor soon comes in to go over the results of the x-ray with the McRoy family. The doctor explains she has an oblique fracture in her upper right femur, but luckily it is still aligned, so surgery won't be necessary. – 11:13 p.m. Blair is brought to the minor procedure room to have her cast put on. Although she is still in pain, she is feeling some relief from the pain medication her nurse gave to her. The minor procedure room is located so it will be easy for her to access from anywhere, because any minor procedures take place here. It is not a very large room and does not need the environmental controls of an OR. As Blair gets her cast put on by the doctor, her nurse goes towards the nurse's station in the psych ward to discuss any upcoming training sessions with another nurse.
Here's our psych ward. We designed it with the color green, since green has a calming effect on our patients, and it's also really helpful since it helps them concentrate on exercises that we give them. We have locks on our doors for safety, including their bathrooms. And we also have our beds and nightstands. Everything's just really heavy so that they can't pick it up or anything like that. And there's absolutely nothing in there that they can hurt themselves with. We have all our paperwork and everything being done in a completely separate room. And when nurses need to check in on their patients and check on their progress, they have everything they can put on a cart, and then at any given time they can just wheel it in to any of our rooms. And we have our nurse station right in the center so that they can easily go into any of the rooms whenever anything's going on. We also have glass on our doors so that they can see inside. Go there. Oh, okay.
Okay, so while Blair's nurse is walking over to the psych ward to talk to a fellow nurse about what? Oh yeah. About an upcoming training session, a patient comes and suddenly throws themselves over the desk to grab her. She presses the safety button, and a plexiglass hits the patient and pulls them back. Security is notified and comes and detains the patient. Okay.
Oh, so, nurses used to complain all the time about feeling unsafe on their evening and night shifts because of aggressive patients, such as her. We lost a lot of nurses during the evening and night shifts because they were not feeling safe with the way security was, because it would take several minutes to just ring them up, and then they came down, and by then nurses would be assaulted by then. But ever since we added our innovation where they hit a button and the glass would just push them off of them and keep them away from their personal bubble, the nurses have been not the nurses haven't been hesitating to sign up for evening and night shifts, and we've increased our capacity.
They feel a lot more comfortable also because our security watch room is located generally centered in the hospital. Our hospital is kind of on the small side, being we're in such low populated area. So it's right here, and the psych ward literally right here. So it's easy to run anywhere in the hospital. They get there in under 30 seconds, if even that, to come and protect the nurses. And when that glass goes up, it stays up so that they can't continually attack over the desk.
So after that happens, our nurse wants to head up to the break room to relax. So she goes up here to our break room, which is on the opposite side of the hospital than our waiting room, so that patients aren't going to be watching them all like talking and relaxing while patients are stressing over their own problems. So we have that over here with our conference rooms and training rooms. Everything's just devoted to the staff on that side. Oh, 11:13.
Luckily, the security room is located.
Okay, I'm good. Okay. Okay, 11:32 p.m. Michael is placed in his patient room over here. It's also designed with the color green for the calming effect on patients. We have our bed, our bathroom, stuff for our visitors to come in with. It's really roomy for them. We have a TV and our desk for nurses to do paperwork and stuff for our patient. So Michael's nurse needs to get pain meds for him, so she heads on over to the Diebold over here, which is in a room that's locked so that patients can't go in and try and steal drugs or whatever. So that's for security purposes. After giving him his pain meds, she heads on over to her nurse station, but she sees someone fall out of the corner of her eye, and she looks into our observation units and sees someone unconscious on the ground. So she heads on over and calls for help.
So that's why our observation units are located right here, and they have an open wall so that the nurse's station looks directly into them. So this way, when we have patients that they don't need to be admitted, but they definitely need us to watch them, they go in the observation unit and we can always see them. So if there is an instance where, somebody faints, they're not just left there sitting, and we can care for them right away. So as the night comes to a close, Blair and Michael rest in their beds. In the distance, you can hear a helicopter coming in to land on the helipad that needs to transport a patient to another hospital. Somebody waits in the waiting room patiently, waiting to be triaged, and another man goes into the prayer room. Everybody is safe and in their beds or coming in, and our staff has had a very busy night, but our staff as well as our building are prepared for absolutely anything.